Welcome to Conscious Clips of Our Time Together. Today we're going to talk about the frontal lobes of the brain and how it relates to discipline and guidance. The frontal lobes are the CEO of the brain. It's the boss of the brain. It's the executive of the brain. And thus it gives us the executive skills. This part of the brain is right behind our forehead, and so these are our frontal lobes. Specifically, we're going to talk about the prefrontal lobes. Now, I run Loving Guidance, so I am a boss. So I can relate to these skills a great deal. Now, they come in two categories. Basically, the frontal lobe and these skills called executive skills have two main parts to them. One is to decide what to do out of all the many things you could do and how to organize and plan that so you can achieve it. At the same time, you got to manage your emotions so you don't get sidetracked and overwhelmed. Often I hear people come up to me and say, oh, you need a Sophie series. You need a Sophie series for the little kids, like a Schubert series, or you need to make this, or you need to write a book about this. And I'm so overwhelmed, I'm like, yeah, right. So my frontal lobes can't handle that information. So let's go and break these two up. There's executive skills that have to do with thinking, and there's executive skills that have to do with managing our emotions. So the thinking executive skills include such things as planning. You got to plan what you want to do. Organization. How are you going to get the resources there to do this? Time management. What's your timeline? Working memory. You got to remember who's doing what part of things. And self-monitoring. Along the way, you got to say, how am I doing? How am I doing? How am I doing? Now think about this in terms of young children. How able are they to plan at certain ages? How can they organize their materials? How do they know how long something is going to take? How many children wait to the last minute before making a book report that they needed to start reading 2 weeks ago? And working memory, can they remember to take their book to school? Did they even know what the assignment was? And monitoring themselves. So these skills that we call executive skills take 2 decades to develop, and they develop very slowly over time. Our job as a parent or a teacher is to be the child's frontal lobes while theirs is developing. So just with these thinking skills, how can we help a child plan, organize, manage their time, remember what they need to take care of, and evaluate themselves? Constantly, these are the things we must help children do. Sometimes we need to make a checklist for our older children. This is what you need to have done before you go to bed. We have visuals so children know what to do, what to expect. We have reminders. Remember this. We constantly must be the child's surrogate frontal lobes. Now imagine what happens if you've got a problem in one of these areas yourself. You have a problem in planning. You have a problem in organization. You have a problem in time management. If you are missing these skills, it's going to be impossible to help your child develop them. So conscious discipline is a frontal lobe skill development program. It helps us develop the skills we need so we can help children develop the skills they need. The second set of these executive skills, which is the big name for all the skills the frontal lobe does, besides the thinking ones we just talked about, are the behavioral or emotional skills. The frontal lobes allow us to have impulse control. It allows us to regulate our emotions so we just don't get so overwhelmed or so angry and sidetracked. It allows us to have flexibility, to shift from one thought to the next thought, in essence, to multitask. It allows us to have task initiation, to start a project, and persistence, despite obstacles, to finish it. Again, as a CEO or the boss of a company, I can tell you that there's times where it's hard for me. I start a project and I don't finish it because there's so many obstacles. Or I'm focused on one project and 8 projects need my attention, and I get so overwhelmed that my emotions kind of stop the process again. So these executive skills, as you can see, really are the skills of a CEO of our brain. And even though they come from this area called the frontal lobe. They integrate with every area of the brain, just like me as the CEO. I interact with every person who works with me so that I know what's going on in each phase. So every area of the frontal lobe is engaged with every other area of the brain. Now think about this in terms of what we need to do with children. If children takes 2 decades for them to develop impulse control, 2 decades for them to regulate their emotions, 2 decades for them to start a task and finish it, we still again have to be the child's frontal lobe as these develop. We must model these. And again, conscious discipline is the program that teaches you how to access, develop, strengthen your frontal lobes, so in turn you can help develop the frontal lobes of your children. Just think about all the executive skills required in completing homework for children. First, they have to organize their materials. They have to manage their time. They have to know if I got to start at 7, so I'll be done at 8. They need to plan what to do first and what to do second. They have to monitor themselves all the way through it, and they have to remember what's supposed to be done, what they've completed, and what they haven't completed. At the same time, they've got to manage their emotions because they don't understand the math. They've got to regulate their impulse control because they'd much rather watch TV or maybe get a snack or go outside and play with friends. And they also then have to kind of multitask. Well, I've got a little bit from English, I got a little bit over here from math, I got this. And they must be able to start this process and end it despite all the obstacles that happen in the middle, including a 2-year-old brother sticking gum to their pants. So this is a huge problem, and you can see why it's such an aggravation for parents, because we say, go do your homework and leave them to it. It's impossible for children to develop all these skills. We must constantly prompt, cue, assist, help them, give them visual, structure the environment. You will do your homework from 7 to 8. Here's the one you will start with first. Here's what you will do first. You need to take some breaks. Let's calm down. You can do it. We help them regulate their emotions when they run into obstacles. And the problem with the frontal lobes is they are labor intensive. They require an adult right there with the child constantly for their development. And one of the problems in our society now is that we're so busy. People are working so long. Everyone is so busy. We don't have time to put in what it takes for frontal lobe development. Conscious discipline is a frontal lobe development program. Most of what we call discipline problems are simply undeveloped, immature executive skills. Conscious discipline will help you and your children be successful as they develop through life the skills necessary to be successful all through life. Until next time, I wish you well.